Give us a clap. That was a good one.
That's a good clap, wasn't it? Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome once again.
Do you know what I saw today, which actually made me weirdly really happy? Even though I hadn't seen it, I just looked at on IMDb and it had like top rated films of the week. Do you know what Top Gun Maverick is on IMDb at the moment?
No, go on.
8.6.
It's a phenomenal film.
And do you know what The Matrix Resurrections is? It's like 5. It's like 5.4 or something.
Yeah.
And as much as Tom Cruise is, in his outside life, the guy can make films. Like,
he makes entertainment. He's an old-fashioned film star, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's probably one of the last film stars around. Like true
He's
film
like
stars.
the modern Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
Like true
He
grit.
really is.
yeah.
He's like the Meryl Streep of Tom Cruise.
I'm trying to think of a bad Tom Cruise film. I know there's like
Tropic Thunder. Controversial opinion.
well, it's
I know.
controversial, but he's great.
He is great.
It's one of the only films where he's not the main character.
Yeah.
I love that people are just like, Tom Cruise isn't in that, and you're like, watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Such a good performance. It really is.
What were we just talking about? Walter Mitty.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Great film.
Made us cry.
Honestly, it got me through some dark times, that film. But
Yeah.
the soundtrack, just like Jose Gonzalez and of Monsters and Men, just that really nice Icelandic kind of music.
Arcade Fire. David Bowie.
Oh yeah, Major Tom. Yeah.
There's Major Tom. Then he that's when he breaks, isn't it? That's when he's like, I'm gonna go and do something out of the norm.
And he gets
he's
on the
already in
helicopter.
Iceland, but then that's where he's like, I'm gonna go do something scary.
I love it. The thing with the massive guy in the helicopter who's flying next to the boat. He's like, "You gotta go now, go!" And he jumps out, and he's like, "Not that way." He's like, "I meant to jump on the other boat, the little boat, Walter." It's just
I love that film.
swimming through a porpoise school. It's not a porpoise. It's a porpoise. Okay, that's a shark.
I think it's terribly underrated. I would argue it's as good as like Forrest Gump in the terms of like you really root for the character.
Yeah.
His character's got flaws. He's not confident in himself. Yeah. But you love him.
Oh yeah.
And you want to see him succeed. And I love that about the film. And he does.
It's the classic underdog film.
Yeah.
And it is.
And you really root for him.
I hope they use that film in film schools because it's the narrative is so brilliant. The way, like at the start of it, he's filling out a an online dating thing, isn't he? And he's saying, like, "Where have you been?" Like, you know, Phoenix.
Leave it blank.
Basically, not fun. And towards the end, he's talking to Patton Oswalt, is the guy Chuck. He's the guy on the phone, and he's like, I went to Afghanistan, and then he's in like the foothills of like the Himalayas. He's like, I have to make oxygen choices.
He's like, I can't talk right now. I'm like, on top of on top of Kilimanjaro or something. He's like, what? He's like, and then that film, like the ending as well.
Oh god,
he's beautiful.
It's so good.
And I feel like an asshole. I can't remember her name. The lady in the film. She was in Bridesmaids.
Kristen Wiig.
Fucking amazing.
She's great. Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Really good, isn't it?
I like where he does like the reverse Benjamin Button. But he's just stood. I love that he does the flashbacks happen, but he's actually just stood daydreaming the whole time. And then she's like,
I love you,
bye.
baby. Not because you look like a small weird baby, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. He's going to like nestle into me and die.
It's just a beautifully well shot film.
Yeah. And he wasn't supposed to direct it. I think someone else was attached, and then they pulled out, and he was like, no, I still want to make this, so I'm going to direct it.
Did he write the screenplay for it, or was it?
No, it's an adaptation from a story,
Oh, we didn't know that.
The book is very different from what I understand.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, Forrest Gump's a book.
Yeah.
Is it?
And there's actually a sequel to the first Forrest Gump book, isn't there?
There is?
There is, yeah. Get it up. I'm sure there's
I'm amazed Hollywood hasn't like.
What am I typing?
Rolled
Forrest
back.
Gump 2.
There is a Forrest Gump sequel. I mean, obviously the book, I'm guessing, is completely different to the original film.
I don't know. I mean, the story,
But I'm
the
pretty
story
sure
of
there's
Forrest Gump is up there with like The Grapes of Wrath and like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for like great American stories.
Yeah.
It goes through like 50 years of really like important American events and stuff from like, you know, Well, there's the civil rights movement,
Yeah.
and there's Vietnam, and there's Nixon, and
There
everything,
is.
and he's there at all those things. Like the little
Yeah.
bits in Forrest Gump where he's in the Watergate Hotel looking over, and he's like,
Yeah.
there seems to be some things going on there and stuff, and then
It's great.
and Reagan getting shot and stuff.
I know, and the way they did that as well was incredibly clever at the time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you had to basically take old footage.
Yeah, where he's meeting like Johnson.
Yeah.
After Vietnam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clever.
Mm.
A bit of like what's his name from the Beatles?
John Lennon.
John Lennon. Yeah.
The way that's done,
Yeah.
it does seem like he's there.
Well, they didn't have
It's
the
great.
CGI for the time. Apparently, they
No.
like invented all of these things to be able to do that, and it
Yeah.
was it JFK meets JFK in the White House?
Yes.
Shows him his bum.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's Lyndon B. Johnson. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
after Vietnam because he
That's
gets
it.
shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Clever.
Yeah, it's called Gump and Co.
There you go.
Gump and Co.
Yeah. So I guess it's him and his.
Not-
yeah, it looks like him and
Not
his son.
Bubba Gump.
I mean,
Yeah.
what are the reviews, Rob? What's the?
I'm trying to find it. Hang on, you guys.
Come on.
You
'Cause
guys.
I just
And
spied
Gary,
there.
like-
I just spied there. 3 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
So I'm keen to
Well,
hear.
it's 3.28.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
It's
not
got
too bad.
200,
Out of 5.
202 one-star reviews.
But
Well, this
Gary,
entire review has been
Gary
hidden with
Sinise.
spoilers.
Gary Sinise in that film.
He's so good.
When he's there on top of the mast, he's like, "You call this a storm?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Dan, he was crazy.
Well, they also made like, the CGI wasn't there for Lieutenant Dan's.
Just
legs.
that's when he flips over, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it flips over the boat. They
Yeah.
I
actually
saw that in that Netflix
They actually
documentary. like that.
built the.
Yeah.
So he swings his legs over because there's a hatch
Yeah.
in the boat that's open. But
Well, it's the same like forced
Yeah.
perspective they used in like the Hobbit films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lovely moment in Forrest Gump. It's when he turns up at the end at him and Jenny's wedding.
Mm.
And he's got the new carbon
New legs, yeah.
He's like, Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs. And there's a lovely look on Lieutenant Dan's face
Yeah.
of like, just like, I've missed you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is really.
It's like a real moment of friendship between those two.
And of course, he's
Yeah.
married an Asian woman, which is
Yeah.
like the amazing thing. He went to fight in Vietnam and
Yeah.
had probably those quite racist
Yeah.
beliefs and stuff, and then he's completely changed
Yeah.
because of meeting Gump. He was,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I remember having one of the worst New Year's Eves ever.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I didn't do anything. Like all of my friends were elsewhere. I think it might have been COVID New Year's. One of
Tell me you didn't watch Forrest Gump.
I didn't watch Forrest Gump, but I think I was drinking champagne and like watching the. Who is it? Is it who's the guy?
Jules
Jules
Holland.
Holland.
Yeah.
I was watching Jules Holland.
Yeah.
It's like, this is so bad. I was just drinking champagne on my own. Like my parents were like dancing. I was
You
staying
like
with my parents.
Will Ferrell
Okay.
get hard and he's there with the wine. He's there like, crying.
No, but almost. But yeah, I had this champagne, and I was like, and yeah, just like my mind just like went straight back to when like Lieutenant Dan's at the bar,
His
and it's like
awful
everyone's doing
New
like
Year's.
Happy New Year and all the confetti.
Yeah,
and he's got
hat on
this-
it.
Yeah.
it's falling on like just a sad
Yeah.
face. Just like. I was like, oh, Lieutenant Dan right
Yeah.
now.
And they go back to the house with like
Yeah.
the prostitutes and stuff, and
That's
it's
it.
just awful.
It is, yeah.
and you
absolutely
know,
horrible.
that's the amazing thing. Is, again, there's so many redemption arcs in that film. You know, and it's like Lieutenant Dan is like at rock. He is the definitive like Vietnam veteran,
Yeah.
left by the state, not really looked after and stuff, trying to get by. Even his
Yeah.
wheelchair skids on the ice in New York and stuff because he can't like.
Yeah.
And then he goes. He follows this in his mind this idiot to start a shrimping company,
Yeah.
and thanks to some like celestial events,
He's really down and out.
and
isn't he?
it really like it turned his life around and stuff,
Yeah.
and and I think you really see that like with when they're properly in business and stuff, and they're just chilling on the boat and stuff, and someone rings and she says, "Is Forrest there?" And he says, "Forrest is not incapacitated, but he's busy at the moment." And she says, "It's a call from home. It says his mum is ill." And it's the look for 1 second. They both look up and look at each other, and you see Lieutenant Dan. He gets how serious that is, and,
Right,
and he just dives off the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, No, it's great.
It's a
That's
fantastic
interesting.
film.
I've got a great review from
Oh, God, let's hear it.
So it's by Amanda. Mind-numbingly bad. At least the gentleman of 372 pages will spin gold from this pig manure covered in straw. And she says with yeesh.
Pig manure covered in straw. Oh God.
Someone else has put the first book was witty, fun to read.
Okay.
Something that's
Just gonna read
that's
that
in
there.
Spanish. I can't read that. That's not in a language I understand.
I remember when I did a pub quiz and I read out reviews from the film Cats, and people had to guess what film it was. And one of the reviews literally was, "This film was less fun than my chemotherapy."
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Ouch.
Can you imagine if you're Dame Judi Dench reading that and going,
Yeah.
shit. I really,
I really messed up.
Bloody
There's
hell.
another one, Phil Criswell.
That's not a real name.
Shout out to Phil. Life is like a box of chocolates and I got Brussels sprouts.
I love it in one of Stephen King's books. I think it's like the Wastelands or something like that. Or no, it's the next one after that. It's Wizard and Glass. And at the start of it, there's a big long thing where he reads out fan letters that people had sent him. And this is in the 80s. People like wrote letters and sent it and stuff.
Yeah,
and people were so angry because the Wastelands ends really abruptly.
Right.
Like they're just on this train going somewhere, and it's like whether they're going to survive the train journey or not. And people, like the way that some people write these letters, I can't remember what they were, but like there was someone who was just like, "I cannot believe that you get one single penny for writing the garbage that you write and just tacking on that ending and leaving us all hanging. I absolutely hated every page of it, apart from the drawings. I particularly liked those ones."
Cherry on top of just...
But Stephen King said that literally there was a lady who read The Wastelands and she wrote him a letter and said, "I understand you put this really short ending on it. I need to let you know I have 6 months left to live. I'm going through a really severe course of chemotherapy and my prognosis is not good. Can you please just tell me the end? I will take it literally to my grave, which is not far away. Please just let me know." And he was like, "I can't. I don't know what happens. I'm really sorry." Like,
No way.
but
I mean, I admire him for being honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
First thing he's always said, he doesn't know where the stories are going to go. He doesn't know if anyone's going to survive and stuff. Like, but yeah. But I mean, for someone who's had so many films made of his work and stuff. But I mean, because people have always said, why doesn't Stephen King try directing? Because obviously he's got such an amazing creative vision and stuff. But there is a film.
Yeah, he did direct
Yes, he
something,
directed a film called Maximum Overdrive. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Most people haven't.
This sounds terrible. It's also one I want to watch.
I watched it and I loved it. It's rated like 4.4 on IMDb or something like that.
Less than The Matrix.
What's it about?
It's about these cars that come to life. It's about cars and machines.
Don't they take the lick out of this in
Christine
Futurama? With Ben
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's Christine.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Christine's actually quite good.
Yeah, but Maximum Overdrive is a film that
Fair enough.
he didn't write a book about it. He just wrote the film
Oh, right.
and he directed it. And they're like the promo stuff for it's amazing because there's Stephen King and he's like, if you need a job done right, sometimes you just gotta do it yourself. And he's just so corny. Like, I love how corny he is in real life. He writes these masterpiece work stuff, but in reality, he's in. There's a remake of The Shining. Well, not a remake, but so he hated The Shining. Famously, he really disliked Stanley Kubrick's version of it because it changes so much of it. It completely took away. The main in The Shining, the main story is about Jack Torrance being an alcoholic who's struggling with his demons, whereas he was like, well, Jack Nicholson just indulged in his demons. He just went full-fledged for it and stuff, and so he made a TV miniseries, 4-hour-long episodes.
Yeah,
but he's in that as he's the conductor of the band of ghosts, Stephen King. And there's a bit he turns around, and he's like, and he's just so clownish and camp and amazing. But he directed Maximum Overdrive and. He said
There's a Shining series, sorry.
Yeah, Shining miniseries.
I kind of want to watch that.
Yeah,
I
and
thought you were talking
there's
about
a
Doctor Sleep.
No, the Shining miniseries, yeah, and there's the Stand miniseries as well, which is great.
Shining
The
miniseries.
one with Gary Sinise. Yeah, it's I can't remember the actor who plays Jack Torrance, but it's like a proper.
Sounds like it could be like, imagine if like Lynch did like a Twin Peaksy.
Yeah.
The Shining.
yeah. Well, it's
Like-
a proper. It's a proper like Channel 5 American Sunday afternoon kind of watch. It's really good, but it's much more true to the book. Like the
Early
animals,
X-Files.
the animals in the the animals in the maze all come to life. That was a really big thing in the book and stuff. Yeah, I think different people died. Different people did or didn't survive. But like Scatman Crothers' character in the book, no, he is in the book. Yeah. But he has a very different ending, I think.
Scatman Crothers.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a case of where Kubrick is he's got such a vision, and then you've got someone like
He's an
Stephen
auteur.
King,
Yeah.
and it's two extremes.
Yeah.
They're never going to meet, are they? They're never going to like. They're never going to agree on anything, are they?
Yeah.
You know.
Kubrick, that was. I watched a documentary on this. I think it's called. What is it? Room 2-1's. Is it Room 237 or something? But
308 or something, I think, because it adds up to 13.
Yeah, and it's
Or 209.
the film. He was making the film and there was like all this speculation about Kubrick being asked by the US government to fake the moon landing.
Wow.
So that's why Danny wears the Apollo 11
Oh right.
jumper.
No,
and
right.
it goes up. So if you see the shot, like it looks like the rocket's going up.
Love that.
Yeah.
And there's like there's almost like I really want to like watch that film to death. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's probably said it really obviously somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like The Shining is still one of the creepiest films I've ever seen.
Oh, it's great.
Because
Yeah.
when there's a bit when Jack's having the interview for
Yeah.
the job, there's a window behind the guy doing the interview in his office, and it's a window that looks out onto like the forest and like whatever.
Yeah.
But it's impossible for that to be outside, so it's almost like
Why?
because he goes out of. I want to find it and I want to show you, but.
Like the way that he walks into the building and the turns that he takes. 'Cause it's all one shot when they follow him, isn't
the
it?
turns that he takes, and then it's basically in the middle of the hotel.
Yeah.
So there's no way there could be a window
That's cool.
looking out into the real world.
So there are things like that. Yeah.
So it's already like he's speaking to a ghost.
Do you know?
when he got the
Do you
job.
know what that is like on like? There's a film called 1408.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah.
That's
really frightening.
That's The Shining on steroids.
Is that the one with
Yeah.
John Cusack?
John Cusack? Yeah. And again, 1408 adds
Samuel
up
Jackson,
to
isn't it?
13. Yeah.
That's a good one. That.
Samuel L. Jackson, yeah. And it's that thing where like he opens the window and it's just bricks.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and he closes it again and opens it and it's like out onto the street. And he looks
that's a
across
good
the
one.
way and there's the other person waving at it. That was the idea of The Shining, kind of like ramped up to 15. It's really like powerful.
That really scared me because it's like it's kind of like The Shining where it's something you can't escape. So there's a horror movie called Grave Encounters, and it was made as like a B movie, I think. Like the budget had to be small, but it's one of the scariest films I've ever seen because it's just terrifying. In that they try to leave, so they're basically faking a. You know how like you've got like the most haunted and stuff like that, and Derek Acora going. Like they've got it's kind of like that, but they're like kind of like the Chris Angel version of that. But they go,
So, isn't there a most haunted where he's saying, I might have this wrong, and he's like Fatty want dick or something. He starts like fully going into character on these characters, like these.
He's
apparently
really
possessed.
drunk.
I have to ask Lucy about this.
She's
Lucy
like,
loves
Fatty,
these
she's
shows.
like, he's like, Fatty wants dick, Fatty wants. It's just the most ridiculous thing.
The power of Christ compels you.
They proved he was talking bullshit.
Full of shit,
basically.
yeah.
Because I think he actually might have been at Bodmin jail, or it was somewhere in Cornwall.
Oh right.
Yeah, these guys were trying to debunk him.
What's this called again? Ghost Encounters?
Grave Encounters.
Grave Encounters, yeah.
This is too long, but I just want to find like the scene. Hang on.
On a side thing, yeah. Look up the whole Derek thing when you got.
Derek Acora.
Yeah, when you got
Is he the aliens guy?
No, he's the ghost guy. he's the Liverpudlian that does the Yeah, he was on Most Haunted Live. That was
Derek
the
O'Cora.
yeah, and everyone thought it was real. Yeah.
Are you
The
okay?
Shining subliminal erection lens flare targets crotch of Mr. Ullman.
Wow,
That's just bullshit, though, isn't it?
Kubrick fan. So
I will find it, but it's great. But there was a little bit just a second ago where it had like the architecture of the building, and it like
Yeah,
shows-
it's impossible for them
There's
to
a
do.
bit, isn't
Yeah.
there, where Jack Nicholson looks at the camera, and they left it in, isn't there?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Kubrick
Oh,
was
is there?
like
Okay. I think
little things like that.
I think this is
to
fine
add
to
to
watch. But yeah, he goes in here.
Yeah.
And that's hallway, and then
Oh, yeah.
he's actually
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
elevators.
Right.
Yeah. So that's his office.
There's
And
no
it
way
would
that's a
be-
mistake.
It would be
is there?
looking. It would be looking out into the kitchen.
I love that. Can we go back a second? That, yeah,
Yeah.
Wendy looks Jack and Jack meets Mr. Grady. Wow, this is the whole...
Yeah.
Wendy fights Jack off with baseball bat. Jack's typewriter.
Oh, because obviously The Shining's about the genocide of Native Americans.
It's a sub story. Yeah, but basically the hotel is built on essentially a Native American burial ground or something like that. Yeah.
Because all of the like rugs and all like the art is all
Yeah.
yeah.
But do you know what's interesting as well? Do you know where this was filmed?
Oh, where was it?
Go.
Elstree Studios in London.
Wow.
Almost all of The Shining was filmed in the UK.
Loved it.
And Full Metal.
You
And
wrecked the
You
film.
thought it was a real hotel in
yeah,
America,
I
didn't
did.
you?
no,
Yeah.
it's that's
no.
all. It's all a set.
In your
Yeah.
head, you're like, oh, I can go there one day.
And Full Metal Jacket, because Kubrick lived in the UK for most of his life. Like he
My
was
dad
American.
Wasn't Blade Runner all filmed in a warehouse in Brighton as well?
but maybe
There's-
sounds
Sure, a
like
lot
a
of
Ridley
it.
Scott thing
Yeah.
to do. Yeah.
There's a story of. I might have this wrong. I might have this somewhere around. When they were filming Batman, they went.
Which one?
The 1989
The
Batman.
first one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
They went into the studio, and all the eggs.
Wait, is this the one with spray can Jack Nicholson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could have this wrong, so I do apologise.
Yeah,
it's a
it's
bit of
fine.
trivia.
Yeah.
I read somewhere, but basically they were doing Aliens, or they were doing Batman,
Yeah.
and the set for like the first Aliens film was still built, and they had all the eggs there.
Yeah.
So when they went in there, it was all still there.
Yeah.
Love, they just left it there.
Yeah.
How creepy would that be? Yeah,
They do that with a lot of
Yeah,
films because
I
they're
love
like the
that.
next
It's
film
like,
might
wow,
need this.
like-
So all of the sets for Dark City,
Yeah.
which is Alex Proyas. Have you ever seen Dark City?
No.
Brilliant film with Richard O'Brien from The Crystal Maze. The
No way.
Olga, The Crystal Maze.
I love the Crystal Maze.
But also with
that guy.
Rufus Sewell from he's the Count Adamar from A Knight's Tale. He's in it, and
What else is
Jennifer
he in?
Connelly.
So Rufus O'Toole,
Rufus Sewell.
Rufus Sewell. He's
he always
I know
plays
the name, he's in,
plays an arsehole in films.
Apart from Dark City, where he doesn't. Dark
Oh,
City, yeah.
okay.
But it so
He's the
the
arsehole in The Holiday to Kate Winslet. She's the one she's.
Yes,
she's the one
I remember that.
He's the one she's obsessed
so
with.
Holiday's amazing. That's a lovely thing.
Yeah.
But the all the
That's
sets from
Christmas
Dark
one,
City
Yeah.
were then used for The Matrix
No way.
because they were the next thing to film in there, and they were like, "This is perfect." 'Cause
I
it was
love that.
all, yeah.
I love that they recycle things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in what's your man from New Zealand, the director.
Taika Waititi.
yeah.
A lot of the stuff in the Hobbit films.
Oh,
He was
okay.
allowed to recycle.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he said in an interview, maybe not with Peter Jackson's permission, but they just went with it. They were given all these
But
props
things like that
they could
clearly
use. I
happen.
love that.
You imagine basically Warner Brothers must have like 1,000 Nazi uniforms. They must have that in a warehouse somewhere. They must have 1,000 Allied uniforms.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And every war film, you could probably see the same uniforms worn by different guys and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas when I did Mary Poppins, I promise I'm not going to bring this up too much because it's my only experience of working on a film.
Claim to fame.
I'm not even. I don't think I'm even in the film. But when they
Live it, man.
we
You're
went
allowed.
we went
It's cool.
we went up and they measured us all up, and they were, because some of us didn't get in because they were basically like, we've got this many costumes that are this size, and we've got this many costumes that are this size, and the costumes are easier to replace than you are.
Right.
No, you're easier to replace than the costumes.
Wow.
Like guys
Wow.
who that we had, like there was like 2 200 of
That's
us,
brilliant.
basically, who, because as special action extras, there were like 200 of us that could ride bikes. They probably only needed like 75 of us in the end, where they were like, we've got this many costumes. We can just fit the costumes to you rather than to go out and buy a whole new like late 19th century lamplighter kind of of gear and stuff. So but it was, but when we were actually in, then it was like meticulous. They took photos of us on the day that we were cast with in full wardrobe and everything, and they didn't get like calipers out and measure the length of our stubble, but they might as well have done. I'm one of the if I am in the film, I haven't seen it, but if I am in the film, I'm one of the only guys that's got like some stubble like this, because everyone else had to be clean shaven, and I said I've got a skin condition, I've got psoriasis and stuff, and they said okay, well we'll just trim you really close. So, but I'm one of the only people that doesn't have.
Not watched it, huh?
So we watch
Let's have a look.
Mary Poppins Returns. Is that the film's called?
What? Mary Poppins Returns, yeah.
Yeah, we'll look for you.
You're not going to watch the whole film now.
I'm not.
There's only
film.
there is only one scene that I'm possibly
Don't worry,
in.
mate.
There's
I
only
love
one
Emily
scene that
Blunt.
I'm possibly
She's a
in.
great actress, but I'm not going to watch that.
Would it be
film.
called the bike scene?
The bike scene and the lamplighting scene, because we were called Learys.
Trip to a little light fantastic.
Is there like a little bit in the background where you're doing like trial bike stuff, like just bouncing around?
I wasn't, but there were other guys that were. There were other guys who were. I mean, they wanted like Danny McCaskill basically, but he's too expensive for that kind of stuff. So he is in Premium Rush though. Have you seen Premium Rush? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah.
I've not seen that one.
It's a film about bike messengers in New York. It's really,
That sounds cool.
It is cool. Yeah. It's
I
really
want to see another Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
He's a great actor. Actually.
Yeah.
I thought I loved him in Looper.
I was just going to say Looper.
Looper's great.
I don't know what the hell they did to his face. They sent him to the same place as fucking what's his name from The Wrestler.
Yeah.
What's his name? The guy. Who's the guy in The Wrestler?
Mickey Rourke.
Ricky Rourke. Yeah. They sent Joseph Gordon-Levitt to the same place that
Mickey
Mickey
Rourke,
Rourke had his face. Yeah, it was Mickey Rourke. Yeah.
It's Mickey Rourke. Yeah.
They were like
Lin-Manuel
Miranda. Yeah. He was really nice.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt was probably in character, but she was just a bit like. She was just a bit sort of. But then Lin-Manuel Miranda, he came over to us. He was like bumming cigarettes off us and having a chat and things. He was a really nice guy.
She was doing the whole method thing, was she?
And she was a bit.
Have you seen that's come under fire recently by a lot of actors?
What method acting?
Yeah, it's become quite a divisive thing. I mean, there are obviously some actors that are like all for it.
Daniel Day-Lewis. I think if you do it right, then it is. It's
I'm going to
good.
refrain from doing my impression.
I've abandoned my child.
We do it after. Drainage.
I drink your milkshake.
Yeah.
I've abandoned my child.
I've abandoned my boy.
But then that's so.
It's the way he breaks up with the emotion, isn't it? Like it's so good.
But
that's where proper method acting gets you. It
I
really
agree.
does,
I
yeah.
actually think it's good.
But we sort of blurred the lines because we were really drunk. We were really drunk getting like some food after a night out, and we were doing that. But that kind of we weren't even talking. We weren't even actually saying any words to each other. We were just going, "I've abandoned my child."
Trying to one up each other like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Then we started screaming like, "My boy!" And we were just blurring the lines between the death of Cedric Diggory in the Goblet of Fire and
There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
But it works perfectly.
It
And
does,
I wish, I don't know if we can.
There's
but
got to
I
be a
wish
mashup somewhere.
There's got to be,
could-
isn't there?
I just wish I could play that with Cedric Diggory's dad finally. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to find this bike scene and I'm going to see if Rich is
think
in
about
it.
that though. Like a scene like
seriously
that
doubt
can have
it.
such a hold on you, like as an impression,
Yeah.
because it's so good. It's so powerful,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And
It's held on to YouTube for quite some time.
We're probably like, we're taking the mick out. Well, I don't know if we're taking the mick. We're embracing it. We love it. It's great. It's great acting, but it's fun to try and do the impression of, right? Because
Were you in a flat cap, Luke? Rich.
Yes, I would have been, yeah, but so would everyone else have been.
he's trying to find out.
We all looked like Peaky Blinders. And the interesting thing was, they said to us, you're not allowed to tell people what you're doing.
Oh,
Did
right.
you?
We weren't allowed to put anything on social media. It wasn't like Star Wars. I remember there were the guys who were working for So Mark Mottram is this like OG in the stunt world. He has doubled for everyone in the last 25 years, like Hugh Jackman, Harrison Ford, like he's doubled for all of them. And he runs his own company, like Mottram Stunts. That's 100% not me. That might be Rich Johnson, because that's the scene where I think, I know who that is, but it might be. But
I'm doing...
yes, but Mark Mottram and his guys who were like working for him, they were telling us they were like, we were working on Star Wars. I think it was, so we were there in 2017. What was the Star Wars film that came out just before that? Was it Rogue One?
No.
Or Skywalker?
Force Awakens was 2015.
Right, probably would have been.
It would have been. It would have been.
It probably would have been Rogue One or Force Awakens. But they were saying literally when they went to the loo, there were security guards who took their phones.
Wow.
Like you were not allowed, because they were like, it has to be 100% secret. But with us, they were just like, they said to us, you can't tell anyone for now. Like you can tell your partners and stuff what you're doing, because obviously they're going to be like, where are you going every day? But we couldn't take any pictures of the set. We couldn't take any pictures. We took pictures of ourselves, and the guy was like, that's fine. Just if you put them on social media, you will get fired. And if you ever want to work in this industry again, you won't. And so that's that. And
do you know this guy? Sorry, I just really want to find you.
This scene, I doubt that I'm in.
Is there more bike scenes?
Yeah, I was in the big scene. We filmed outside of Buckingham Palace, and that's what I was getting to, because they said, we're filming outside of Buckingham Palace, there will be tourists and stuff. People are going to ask you what you're doing, and they said you make a joke of it, because you can't say you're filming Mary Poppins Returns, but you can say anything else. So people were like, what are you doing? We're like, it's Peaky Blinders. We were like, and that like people were like, oh wow, really? Yeah. But other guys,
synchronized bike scene for Peaky Blinders.
But it was because some people were like, it's the new James Bond film.
Yeah, imagine
they were like, what? James Bond
Tom
film?
Shelby there doing some bike shit.
But they were like,
Ender.
Someone was like, it's the new James Bond film. Yeah, he finds a time travel thing, goes back to Victorian England stuff. And these people were like, oh wow, they're on like Ain't It Cool News looking for is this true stuff. It's because Emily Blunt is literally there dressed as Mary Poppins. Like, what do you think it is?
It's Devil Wears Prada too.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the opposite of The Quiet Place. We're making a lot of noise here. Yeah.
The bike place.
But honestly, that scene cost millions, I think. And I was talking to like the first AD, the first assistant director, and he was just like, might end up on the cutting room floor. It might not make it.
Crazy that, isn't
it? Yeah, and the money they spent a lot of. I got paid. I got paid about £600 for about 2 days' work. Wow. So and a hell of a lot of it was standing around and waiting.
Yeah.
Because like loading these cameras, moving everything around, and they're huge. Yeah. The camera rigs were amazing. There was a street. It's called St James's Gate, I think, and there was 2 cranes at the end, and all they had was a zip wire between them and a dolly camera that ran along it and back. Then there was guys on motorbikes who had like cameras next to them. They were filming like little bits on wheels and stuff, and it's all kinds of stuff. But there was one really good accident. I say really good. It was like no one. A guy called Drew McCabe was one of the guys, and so we come around the Victoria Memorial, the big fountain that's right in front of Buckingham Palace. We come around that, and we all merge together, and it wasn't too hard, but you had to get it right. Yeah. But the thing is, the director was, because I was always right. I was always either right at the back or right at the front. And the director was like, okay, one more time, faster, get in there. We want you guys going fast. And we were, and literally, but whilst we were doing that, there were other stunt guys. There was like Ewan Beedon, and there was a few other guys as well who were on proper bikes that had been made to look like old bikes. The rest of us were on these like clunkers and stuff. Yeah. And they were like jumping over things and stuff, and there were special ramps hidden so that they could jump and get air and things. As we came around, we came in from the left, and this other group of like 50 guys came in from the right, and it just carnaged into the middle, and Drew got caught in someone. He got like smashed into the floor and stuff, and it's on camera. I hope it's in the outtake somewhere. I really hope they kept it, because it was
gag reel.
And it was like about I think about 10 other people sort of like bashed around him, and like there were guys who had to bunny hop over like the wreckage and stuff as they were going so quickly. It was pretty awesome. We were like, Drew, are you okay? And I think he did similar to this. He like fractured his wrist or something, and they were cool. They just said, dude, I'm really sorry, you're going home, but you're getting paid. Like you're getting paid for as long as you would have been here for. Some of the rest of the guys. Yeah. So
I've just found the box office for it. So it grossed $350 million.
Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah, and it cost $130 million to make.
Yeah.
So I mean, it did all right.
Yeah, that's and
presumably there will be a sequel then.
Well, it is a sequel, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
Is it?
So,
yeah, it is.
Returns, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a sequel because it's the two. Ben Whishaw is in it, I think. Q from
he's great.
Yeah,
Dick Van Dyke's in it though, isn't he?
Yes, he is somewhere. He wasn't in any of the scenes I was in, but but it's the two young children from the original film. It's the two young children from the original film who have grown up, and it's now because I think the original Mary Poppins is set in literally like the year 1900, and they're now grown up. I think the boy has been and served in the First World War, and the girl has stayed home and stuff. And
is his name Thomas?
I don't know. Jesus God. Oh my God, imagine that. Imagine if Peaky Blinders is an origin story of Mary Poppins.
We've just blown the roof off something.
Oh.
And Arthur's just like,
Arthur's the one that didn't meet Mary Poppins.
That's why he's so angry all the time. He's like, why wasn't I there for the spoonful of sugar?
But isn't...
Feeding the birds?
Because it's about... have you watched Saving Mr. Banks?
Yeah.
That's about Mary Poppins.
That's a great
Yes,
film.
I think it is.
So it's Emma
Tom
Thompson
Hanks, isn't it?
playing the writer of Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
And Emma Thompson playing Julie Andrews. Was it Julie Andrews who was the original Mary Poppins?
No,
Julie Walters.
She was the writer. Emma Thompson was playing the writer of Mary
Poppins.
Poppins.
Yeah.
Because Tom Hanks is Walt Disney.
And Colin Farrell is like her alcoholic dad.
It's a good film.
It's a really good film.
Emma Thompson
plays the writer, and she's like actually.
And Colin Farrell plays her dad. That's
in
impressive.
the flashbacks.
Okay, right. I was going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, Emma Thompson's a
Context.
beautiful lady and stuff, but Colin Farrell. Hey, Colin Farrell is he can be the Penguin. He can be anything.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Hanks is Walt Disney in it as well, and he plays it so well.
Tom Hanks is Walt.
You can imagine him being Walt Disney,
but like Jason Schwartzman's in it as like one of the composers doing all the like the songs and cartoons and stuff. Like, it's really cool. It's like it's really cool. It's a really good film.
Yeah.
It's like not really about Mary Poppins. It's about like
it's
obviously
about
the
behind
writer,
the scenes and
it's
everything.
about the making of it. And she's like really reluctant to go and see the film. And I think she's like, there's a thing, she doesn't like the limelight at all. She goes to see the film and she starts like hating it because she didn't want any like Disney cartoon
Disneyfication.
It was supposed to be like, I think she wanted to be like a serious book, maybe. Probably wrong. But she like hated the cartoon parts at first, but then she like the bit where she sits there, she watches the film, she listens to the songs, and then she's like comes out of it like and then it gets like this massive standing ovation. It's a good film. Still don't know who Mr. Banks is. Mr. Banks is obviously
Mr. Banks is he's the main character.
Yeah.
Well, he's not the main character. I've
never watched Mary Poppins.
Isn't he the banker?
My childhood. My childhood.
It's his kids.
You've abandoned your childhood.
I've abandoned my childhood.
He's the banker.
He's the banker. Yeah, he's the dad. Yeah. He's also. Oh God, I want to know who the guy who's the actor because he was in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which is again one of my. Come on, have you seen Bedknobs and Broomsticks?
I just told you my childhood was bleak.
Have you seen Bedknobs and Broomsticks?
I don't think so, Rich.
Boys.
This is a deep cut for us.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks is amazing because it is. Who's the lady in Murder, She Wrote? Angela something. Yeah. But she is a witch who lives. She takes in refugees during the Second World War. These children who come and live with her, and it turns out she's an amateur witch. And they go and hide out at the end in this castle, and they fight off invading Nazis by animating.
That sounds incredible.
They animate like suits of armour from this castle, and they fight off Nazis. Find this now: Bedknobs and Broomsticks, soldiers.
Find the trailer for that.
No, just Bedknobs and Broomsticks fighting Nazis.
I know the film. I just
It's so good. There's
Sounds great.
there's a scene where like there's this animated suit of armor, and it's walking along. It's got a pike, and it's got like a Nazi by his scruff, like that, and it's just kicking him in the ass, just like bedrooms and broomsticks, Nazis. Yeah, that's what you want.
Whilst we wait for it to load, you know you were saying about earlier how
versus
they
ghost
say that you
soldiers?
should lie about
Yeah,
what
that's it.
film you're doing.
Hey.
You were saying that you should lie about what film you're doing to the general public.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to get like fined or whatever.
Yeah.
They did the same. Well, they kind of had a thing for the end of the Deathly Hallows, Harry Potter second.
Yeah,
film.
they wanted to keep that under wraps.
There's a whole scene, isn't it, when they're older, watching their kids go on the train.
Yeah.
And it's a bit cringe when you watch back, because
yeah.
they're clearly not 40 years old.
Yeah.
But it's great.
They did a good job, I think. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
They've just been using really good moisturiser. Or like moisturiser.
They all look
Hendo
about
or whatever.
30, not like 50. What
Yeah.
they used to be. But that scene, they had like a distraction scene created. So the fans couldn't actually see the final bit being filmed.
Yeah.
So they couldn't, because of course no one knew before part 2 came, unless you read the book, of course.
Yeah.
Whether Harry Potter lives or dies, whatever.
Yeah.
If you've only watched the film. So they
Was it
can't
actually
keep secret.
filmed at like
King's Cross.
King's Cross Station?
Yes, they did 2 takes by all counts. So they had a distractive bit where it was these random actors that had nothing to do with the film.
Okay.
That everyone was like banging on about, like, oh, this is the scene and everything, spoilers and all that. And then they did the actual, and then they double crossed them.
What, they're decoys?
Yes, and then they did the actual bit.
Yeah.
Which I love, and I love that
Because any information about that is like gold dust.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Star Wars and things. I mean, of course, the famous thing there, Return of the Jedi, of course, its working title was Blue Harvest, right?
Yeah.
I love that Star Wars was probably the first one that did that. It created this whole paranoia of spoiling
Every
plot lines for
every
fans.
film now has this. Every film now has a decoy name to it. But like Alfred Hitchcock did this really well when he said there was he put out this part of the trailer for Psycho, and but also there was a thing that he sent out to any theatre. And he basically said, if you do not follow this rule to the letter, you will never screen a Hitchcock film again.
Right.
And that was a death sentence to a cinema back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And it was, no one is allowed to enter after the film has started. After the film has started, you are not allowed in, because he was like, I will not let people... Because the film was so crazy, it's so weird. It was like, so what? The guy is pretending to be his mother, killing people.
It is a weird film.
And unless you've watched the whole film from start to finish and given it your undivided attention, you'll think it's a shit film. And he was like, "I'll be damned if I let anyone do that."
So true.
And so he was like, you watch the whole thing, and
You can't skim it, can you?
No.
You cannot skim
And in this day and age where we can pull up the Wehrmacht versus ghost soldiers,
Here
this is I think there needs to be some.
Are we allowed the sound? I mean,
Oh yeah, but I mean,
is it over 70 years old?
no, but it's like is it Angela Lansbury?
If you do
That's
some,
Angela Lansbury,
if you do some beatboxing,
And
I believe
so-
it's a remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically. I think as long as we just keep talking over it. So these are all the children and stuff, and all these soldiers just like come to life, and they're chanting the whole time, and it's so macabre and weird. So these are all just suits of armor that are animated by this spell that they spend most of the story trying to find this book to and then they're like fire. They try and gun them down, and obviously because they're just the risen dead. There's nothing to be honest with.
It must have been the inspiration for Return of the King.
It might have been. Yeah.